All right, so let me quickly share my screen with you guys. Okay. All right, our communication, yeah, clear communication, right? At least mindset. What mainly you're going to be speaking about SOAR, which is security, orchestration, automation, and response. I'm going to be talking about alert documentation and incident report writing, which are the most important stuff you're going to Ubuntu. So I'll show you guys how you know Splunk how Splunk is being used to send alerts, how to configure alerts, and how Splunk is being used actually. So I have troubleshooted my Ubuntu. Actually, it was not even a problem. It was just me that did not exist because I was using wireless adapter. But now every Ubuntu, I'm going to show you guys how you can do that quickly, so we can use the generated alert from our Ubuntu to create some automation. Right. So let's quickly. So here is my Ubuntu. Yeah, just remind me. All right, so here's my Ubuntu machine. You see my target machine, right? So I just downloaded Splunk today this morning. So let me quickly walk you through how you can connect your Splunk to your endpoint, right? The endpoint can be a Windows endpoint. It can be Mac OS. Yeah, I think it can be a Mac OS. It can be a Windows endpoint, whatever operating system. It can be a server. It can be a firewall, whatever it is. So just send logs to your your Splunk, right? So let me quickly start my Splunk instance first. So let me just yeah no CMD first. Alright, so I just want to quickly check for my IP address. Oh, I think I even need to check for my IP address. All right, so I think we can just simply access it through the local host. So I believe in our last class I showed you guys how you can install Splunk from the websites and all this stuff. Right. Computer. Yeah, so this is my home. So we're going to be using obviously the search and reporting app, which I told you guys is the app that most or you're going to be using as a SOC analyst almost all the time. So the first thing you need to do when you want to connect an endpoint or if you want to connect an endpoint is to go or head over to your settings, forward and receiving, forwarding and receiving. Because in our last class I told you guys or I showed you guys how you can upload a log file to your Splunk. Right. So today we're going to be seeing how you can connect an endpoint. All right. So no, let me just keep this here. I think. So basically, you're going to be prompted to this page where you're going to configure this receiving right. Is this is where you're going to configure the port in which you're going to be receiving your data or your logs from. So you can just simply click on Add New, but I already had already configured this, and the default port is 9997, which is I think a very good practice if you are in a home lab. It's a very good practice. I just click type in 9997 and click on save. It's very easy. It's as simple as this. But I already have I've already configured the 9997 port. So let me just leave that 9999. So you can choose any port you want to be receiving logs from. I can just click on save and yeah, and say these are the two ports I already configured. So this is the 9997 9997 I configured this morning, and this is the one I just configured right now. So after doing this, you are good to go. So let me just quickly delete this because I'm just setting it up right now. Oh, it's supposed to be deleted. Alright, so I think it's been deleted. You need to refresh the page for it to take effect. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I was basically clicking on disable instead of delete. Actually, I did not even notice that. Actually, I don't even know what's. Yeah, so it's being deleted, right? So this is the port in which I'm currently receiving data from my Ubuntu endpoints to my Splunk. So how can you set your Ubuntu, or how can you tell your Ubuntu to send the logs to your Splunk, your Splunk instance or your Splunk server, whatever you choose, or your Splunk indexer, right? Whatever you choose to call it. So after that, you can just simply head on to the Splunk or your browser in your Ubuntu or your endpoint, whether it is a Windows endpoint or Mac OS, whatever endpoint it is. Just type in Splunk Universal forward. Or you can simply even just head on to their website. If you head on to their website, you're going to go to the downloads page and I want to see the universal folder installed. So this is just a brief explanation of the universal folder. We have two type of folders actually. We have the universal folders and the lightweight folders, right? Yeah, so this is a little bit slow because I did not dedicate a lot of resources to this VM. Um, Yeah, so obviously you need to create an account, but I don't think it needs to or it should be showing me this because I already have an account and I already signed it. So let me just quickly log into my account. So you need to, if you don't have an account with Splunk, you need to create an account and log into the account before you can be able to download any of their products, whether it's the Splunk folder or the Splunk Enterprise, whatever it is. So obviously this is um, my Splunk login details and so on and so forth. So why is the login button not working? Oh my god. All right. I think someone is raising up their hand. Mr. Osus, what's your question? Can I meet your mic and ask a question?
Okay, sir. So I discovered that, oh, sorry, good morning, sir, and good morning,
Yeah.
class. So I discovered that if you're trying to register for Splunk,
Yeah.
you usually ask for, excuse me, a business email, right?
Yeah.
So for those of us who would want to do that, you can use temp mail. You can use www.tempmail.com, right, for your business email. It's just like, I think, Mr. Idris, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. It's just like a temporary email in which you can use to sign up for sites that require you to have a business email or working email if you don't have one. And also, Splunk tells you to put in a working email, but you can decide to not put in a working email and it will work. It's not supposed to, but actually it works because this is not a working email. This is just an email I used to sign up for, things maybe that maybe it's just some stuff, right? So this is not actually working email, it's just a normal email. So sometimes, or most of the times when you want to sign up for Splunk, they allow you to input any type of email. They don't specify work email, but it must not necessarily be a work email. But as it also said, if you want to sign up for anything and it requires you to have a work email, you can head on to the site. There are a lot of other sites that offer same services. You can just go into the site. They're going to give you a temporary email, and even if you require or they ask for maybe or they're going to send a code to that email, you can temporarily receive emails from that temporary email you created from the site, so you can use it. So thank you very much for pulling that out resources. Yeah, so I think this should let us sign in. Com- Computer anyway. Computer work. I should not know somebody like that. Okay. I don't want to finish. All right, so I think it's signing us in. So let's just wait for it to finish signing us in. All right, so I think it's done loading. So let's quickly, choose our download. So this is Splunk Universal folder. They are currently at version 10.2.1. Yeah, so this way I want to choose the operating system you want to download it for, whether it's Windows, Linux, macOS, Windows, Solaris, and other Unix like operating system. So obviously, since we are using Ubuntu, we're going to select the Linux since they are all the same Debian distribution. All right, so Linux and Ubuntu are still under Debian distribution. This. All right, so I can click just download. Click on download. Just 79 MB. It's very very lightweight. All right, so you should start downloading. Yeah, so obviously I already have this downloaded, so I don't think this is it. I just downloaded it this morning. So this is how it's going to be downloaded and this is how it's going to show. So after you download the universal folder, let me quickly just all right, so you can just head on to your downloads and click on LS. Right, and you should be able to install it. So after this is being done, after you have done network glitch. Yeah, so we are back. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah. Why is this one? All right. So as I was saying, so after that, we install it using dpkg, which is the command for installing packages on Linux. Not every packages you download actually for executing packages. Let me use the word packages for executing packages in Linux or Ubuntu, whatever Debian distribution you're using. So after this, obviously, after I finish installing using the package, it's going to automatically create a folder for Splunk, which is going to have the configurations and whatever it is for Splunk Universal folder in the OPT directory. I've forgotten the full meaning of this OPT directory, but it has a meaning, right? So OPT directory, CD into it, and LS is going to be up our Splunk folder, right? You can simply just copy this and CD into Splunk folder, right? So since want to install it, so the executable is inside our bin or the file in which you can be able to execute, or the file in which you can be able long file, right? So all right, so that's good. So all right, so as I was saying, if you are just installing Splunk folder, so what you're going to do next is just accept the license, right? Obviously, Windows computer is going to, if you are running or you are going through the installation wizard, it's going to come to a place which is going to ask you to accept the license and something like that. So this is what you're going to be doing, but manually. So you can just start, then minus minus accepts. Pass. So this is just normal ethic license. Just quickly switch to rituals. I think this should. All right, yes, we want to do whatever it is. Oh my god, because I already have this, so I already ran this. So you can just simply run this and click whatever it, I think it's you, so you can just move on to do whatever it is you want to be doing. Right. So after this, it's important to enable uh, uh, just type in dot slash, which is telling the Ubuntu system. Right. So this basically what obviously I already enabled it. Splunk is currently running. Please stop it. Blah blah blah. So and yes, we need to stop the Splunk instance before you can before you can be able to enable the boot start. But obviously, I don't need to stop it because I already have or already I've already enabled it, right? So the next thing you are going to be doing after this is to telling the Splunk or telling your universal folder where to send the logs to. If you didn't forget, we configured our port in our Splunk instance, right, which is 9997. Right, as I said, you can choose any port you want, whether it's 888, 999, 333, 222, 111. As long as there's no other service using that same port, you can decide to go with it, right? So if you want to now we want to configure our universal folder to send our traffic or to send the logs to our Splunk instance. And keep in mind that your Ubuntu machine or your endpoint must be on the same network as um, whatever device or whatever SIM tool you are sending your the logs to, whether it is Splunk, Wazoo, whatever it is, you need to be on the same network before you can be able to send the logs. And you might be on the same network. Make sure they can talk to each other. Maybe you can try to ping it, try to see whether they are on the same subnet because they can be on same network but be on different subnets. So that those are some things you should keep in mind while configuring all this stuff. So add forward server. So this is the command we use in order to configure to specify the IP address and the port number in which this our Splunk universal folder will be sending our logs to. Then next thing you're going to be adding is our Windows IP address, which obviously our Splunk is IP address. So we need to head on to our command. So I have different network interface here, which about it because if you copy this Ethernet adapter or Ethernet to IP address or whatever it is, it will not work. Although it has an IP address, but I'm not currently using it in my Ubuntu. So my Ubuntu is currently using the wireless adapter. So as I said, it must be on the same network. So that's why I need to copy the IPv4 of this. I can just simply type in the IP address, which is 172.20.10.3, right? You can simply just type in the IP address here, 172.20.10.3, which is the IP address of our Windows machine or our Windows endpoint, right? Just going to serve as our Splunk indexer. Then the port number, obviously, I choose the port number 9997 for obvious reasons, right? Because it's the default and already says it like that. Same settings of install everything works. I don't want it to give us problem. Why? I can come to my also I can come to my Splunk and try to create another port, but I don't really need it, so I don't want to it to cause maybe traffic jam or something like that. So it's not important, and I will not advise that sending logs from the same machine but using different ports. So it's going to be very, very confusing. So basically, this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is the command I'm going to be running in order to send your logs to your Splunk instance. So that's basically it. So after that, how can you verify whether your logs is being sent? There are two ways to go about this. You can go to your Splunk instance and try to search for some logs and see whether the logs are even being generated, or you can there's a command in which you can use to list the logs or list active folders, right? Active folders in the sense that um, is there any configuration? Is the logs being forwarded to any Splunk instance or any SIM instance, something like that, right? Because yeah, I think it's Wazoo agent can send logs to Splunk instance. Yeah, Wazoo agents can send logs to Splunk instance. I don't know if Splunk instance or Splunk folders or agents can send logs to the Wazoo instance. I know Wazoo instance can do that because Wazoo agents are not only folders or log folders, they also serve as EDRs, right? Endpoint is very important. And yeah, so if you want to list or you want to just make sure that your folder is sending logs to your Ubuntu, no, sorry, your Splunk instance. So all you need to do is to type in dot slash Splunk. As I tell you, this dot slash is just telling your computer, okay, I want to execute this file in this current working directory, right? Dot slash Splunk. then list forward server. Uh, okay, I really like how this Ubuntu screen is actually very small. So forward server. So this basically so you can click on enter and yeah. Um, this is just like all I say, just policies and just documentation about whatever it is you want to try to do. But yeah, I just simply keep clicking. You want to agree with this analysis? Yes. It's not actually allowing me to risk, but I'm trying to just came to my. I'm trying to. It's not, I don't want this to give me any problems. But it's not supposed to show me this migration agreement. Yeah. LOI review. Oh, I think this something that this has something to do with the ownership issue of Splunk. I think I need to. I did not create a user for Splunk actually because it's a very good practice to create a different separate user for Splunk because that's actually a stress. Sorry, that's actually a stress, and this is just a lab which I'm within today. So that's why. So certain reporting have actually. I told you, as I told you guys, index. We have in Splunk we have indexes, right? So the indexes are just like right? So it's a good practice to create different indexes for different types of logs. Maybe logs from the firewalls have their own different index, logs from the servers have their own different index, and so on and so forth. Or logs from the HR department, logs from the IT department, and so on and so forth. So basically, we do not set an index for our universal folder from our Ubuntu to our Linux. Obviously, we do not set an index. So it's going to be in the default index, which is the just this. If you type in this, it's going to just bring all the logs from all the indexes. Whatever index you have, if you want all the logs in the organization or something like that, just bring or give you all the logs. Right? So index hash, we did not specify. And the host, which is our target
Excuse
virtual,
me,
this is the
sir. Can you hear
username.
me? I can't see your screen, please.
Oh my god, I did not even know. You guys should have told me since. I thought you guys were seeing the screen. I did not even know. So since I was busy, please can you just maybe notify or tell me where it is you last saw my screen? All right, so let's just continue. So as I was saying, this is basically our search and reporting tool. This is the index, which is we're going to just leave it as hash, and then host, target virtual box, blah blah blah. This is our the username or the computer name for our Ubuntu, right? So let's quickly go back. You can see this is the root at target virtual box, right? So yeah, so that's the username for our Ubuntu. So this is it, or the computer name, right? So host. So this is the host name, target virtual box, and yeah, if you click on enter, it will basically shows the logs of the past 24 hours. So whatever it is that have been going on in the past 24 hours, the time range, you can select all time based on depends on what you want to really do with the logs or what you want to do with the logs from when the operating system was being installed. So this a lot of logs. Although logs doesn't really take much of space, but just to tell you how yes, basically a lot of logs. So as I said, these are the logs from the first day the system was being installed, or the operating system was being installed, right? Yeah. So you can just leave it. So the best practice is just leave it as 24 hours. As I said, depending on what you're trying to investigate, what you're trying to look for, or what you are even trying to do in the same tool, right? So last 24 hours. Yeah. So this basically logs from the last 24 hours. You can, and keep in mind, this is an Ubuntu log. Windows logs is is somewhat different because it has to do with event IDs and events logs and all this stuff. So you can just simply click on this to view more information about you know about the logs. So this is the timestamp. This is a very important time. This is the time the logs was being generated. Timestamp. This is the target kernel, blah, blah, and other informations you can just check out. And so this is the whole space. You can just click on this. You can edit the tags or source. This is the source of the Oh, I even forgot to show you guys because I forgot to show you guys how to tell your Splunk instance what logs to even send, or what logs to even what logs to do you want to be seen, right? So let's just quickly do that. So that's long. I think add monitor. So this is the command in order if you want to just tell your Splunk universal forward, okay, this is the logs I want you to forward or send to my Splunk instance, right? You can go by saying, okay, Linux or Ubuntu logs is being saved at the var slash log. Yeah. So, and that's one of the reasons it's important for you guys to just know basic of operating systems, right? So you should know that, okay, Linux or Ubuntu logs are being saved in the var slash log folder or directory, and in Windows, obviously, it's being saved, or you're going to see it in the event viewer. But there's also a file it is being saved. I've forgotten the name of the file, and I've forgotten the location of the file. But there's also a file in which Windows logs are being saved. Although it's not much accessible like Ubuntu, because obviously Debian distribution and Linux and all this stuff are open source operating system, not like Windows. But yeah, also Windows has its own. But for Linux, if you want to configure this, you need to specify add monitor var slash log, which is the file or directory in which these logs are being saved. Or if you want, okay, you want only Apache logs slash Apache, I think there should be an Apache. Let me quickly open it. So let's navigate to the folder and even see what are the log files in there. Right, slash log. Yeah, so when you click on ls, you can see we have a lot of them. Alternative.log, apport.log, apt. We can click on this apt. This apt has to do with installations, right? Alt.log, authentication, boot.log, bootstrap, btm, cloud init. uh, a lot of log files are here. You can, okay, right, you can just simply type in slash where that slash us.log, which is going to read authentication logs, right? Maybe if there's a failed password or something like that. So that's basically it. Then yeah, there are these open VPN logs, right? These logs are going to has to do with the VPN connections in the endpoint, right? So basically, by specifying okay slash var slash log, you're telling okay whatever it is that is in this folder, I want the logs. So we are taking or we are just sending the entire log of the system to our our Splunk instance, right? So that's basically, so as you can see, the source of this log is slash var slash ken.log or something like that. And you can also specify like here, like what log you want to see. Okay, let's see. You can specify the source. You can specify the source. Be like okay, source. Just give me a few minutes. I'm sorry. All right, so we can just continue. All right, so you can just specify okay slash vr slash log the readme, and one thing I like with Splunk is just like auto complete or something like that. So you can just simply yeah, we can see we want the log of let's go slash ver slash log slash yeah. Let's try to view our Apache logs and see what's going on. Yeah, right? In this log, I think there should be an Apache file. No Apache. No, I think Apache is not installed. That's why Apache is not being installed. So let's look at the apt file or the apt logs slash apt. So if you already know all of these things, you already know the path in your head and all this. You can just simply just type in. Okay, let's see apt is really going to tell us the application that were being installed, right? So as you can see, I installed OpenSSH. I think 7:27 p.m. Sorry, I saw it 7:27 p.m. 2026 February and 28th, which is today. Right, so requested by target, which I install. Okay, let's say you saw requested by maybe another username, which is not us. Obviously, maybe someone has access through SSH and install an application that's not supposed to be there. So that's obviously an endpoint. So this is basically two applications were being installed in the last 24 hours basically. And then the other one is AP net tools, right? For net tools and just for you to be able to run some net command or network command in our Ubuntu. So let's see if there are applications that were installed, like how many applications were installed from the day the operating system came to life. So yeah, a lot actually. I don't even know what this is all about. But yeah, it's just something. Command line apt yes, blah blah blah, auto install. Blah, blah. Yeah, I think this is an update command. So this is an update command. That's why it gives us all this. So these packages were being installed or updated while running the through the apt update command and something like that. So that's why it has a lot of these logs or something like that. How would I even call it? So this basically it. So that's basically how you can send your logs from your endpoints to your Splunk and being able to search through your logs and all that stuff. So right now, let's start getting into what we are here for today, which is XOAR, right? Security, orchestration, automation, and response. Let me quickly just also, for the sake of this, actually, I want to be trying to simulate a brute force attack. I want to be creating an alert in Splunk for a brute force attack, and then we're going to be creating a playbook using our SOR platform, which in this case, which is Shuffle. We're going to be using Shuffle as our SOR platform to create a playbook for that alert. Meaning, okay, if this alert is being triggered, what's the next thing I should do without the analyst actually being active or without the analyst manually doing some stuff by himself. So as a SOC analyst, obviously your job is to detect, analyze, investigate, document, and communicate security incidents to maybe your team members or your superiors or your colleagues, right? So automation actually helps you create an alert in some cases, depending on how you set up the you know, alert. Mm, it's, all right, so you're going to see me. I'm stopping. I'm currently doing two things at the same time, so that's why I'm just, uh, you know, all like this. So just bear with me. Or why is SOR even available? And keep in mind that SOR is not like AI. Like they're saying AI will take cybersecurity jobs, and although it's not true, but yeah, SOR is not basically like AI, right? So automation does not actually replace a SOC analyst; it removes repetitive works, right? So you don't need to actually do anything, or you don't need to do some things that you're not supposed to be doing. Obviously, like some things that just I want to say waste of time, but just takes more of your time, right? So that's just the use of that's just the work of automation or XOAR or SOAR. I'm sorry, not X. SOAR, which is security orchestration, automation, and response. That's basically the work of SOAR. Yeah. What's it? Why? 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 All right. Sorry. I'm just taking someone. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get back. What is even XVR? What is orchestration? What is automation? And what is the response in the XVR? It's just like a short form or something, or oh, what is the name? Acronym or syncronym? I probably actually forgot the. So let's just continue. So SVR actually is orchestration. Orchestration just means connecting tools, right? Connecting tools together. Maybe connecting Splunk with a Hive for ticketing as a ticketing system, or connecting Splunk with your email, or connecting Splunk with your SMS, or connecting Splunk with something else, just connecting things together. That's basically orchestration. So what automation actually? Automation is actually removing manual repetition of stuff. Obviously, you already know what automation is. Then response. Response is actually taking actions automatically. That's what the response in the SOAR means, taking actions automatically, right? So that's basically the full meaning of SOAR. And obviously, the S means security. So the security, connecting tools together, which is the orchestration, then removing manual repetition, which is the automation, and then taking actions automatically, which is the response, right? So that's basically it. So yeah, actually I've been too lazy 2 days to how will I say, to create slides or PowerPoint slides for the classes. So that's why I just script something. I just write some things down. So that's why I want to see me like reading stuff. So that's basically it. I don't know why I'm too lazy to create slides, because it's actually time consuming. So I'm very, very sorry for that. But if you guys want, after this class, I can create like a PDF of whatever we did from the beginning of the class to the end. So I can just share with you guys. I'm going to be surely doing that just to cover up for the slides I've been missing and not been creating for some reason I can't explain. Right? Yeah, so let's basically take a look at Shuffle and what Shuffle, how the interface even is, and what we can basically do with it. Right. So let me quickly walk you guys through how you can even install Shuffle before you even start going to how you can use it and all this. Of course, it's important because you need to install it obviously before you can use it. So let's talk about how you can even install Shuffle before you can use it. So Shuffle is the platform you're going to be using for SOAR, which is our automation. There are other platforms, right? Even Splunk has its own automation platform. Microsoft Sentinel has its own automation platform. Google Chrome, no, I think, yeah, not Google. Google have their own automation platform called, I think, Chronicles or something like that. I can check it up. Almost every SIM tool has their own automation platform. But Shuffle is not actually a SIM tool. It's just a company that is more on designing automation platforms, right? So Shuffle, actually, you can install or download Shuffle using or from their GitHub directory or their GitHub. Um, Let me just Shuffle this way. Yeah, so this is basically it. This is their site. You can take a look at their site and maybe see what the tool is even all about and also. And pretty much Shuffle is one of the easiest automation tools to use. It's one of the most used for small to medium large enterprises, but not all these big tech companies, because they don't normally use Shuffle anymore. But it's mainly used for small to medium enterprises for some reason because of its capacity, right? But most big companies use inbuilt SOAR from the same tool they are using. Maybe they're using Splunk. I want to see most of them are using this SOAR platform from Splunk and other stuff. But while most companies or other companies uses, I think, Cortex, there's a automation tool or SOAR tool called Cortex. That's what most companies actually use. But Shuffle is very, very important for you to know, especially as a tier one stock analyst or in companies in the small to medium enterprise, actually, because it's free and it's open source. So that's why they mostly, I can see, it's even on GitHub. So you can just take a look. So this is just an example of workflow. You can see we have Virus Total. You can connect it to Virus Total for automatic enrichment. This is Shodan and just other applications. This is the high for ticketing and other stuff. Sorry for that. Let me just quickly give you an example of what Shuffle can do to you, can do for you, or can automate for you. So let's say, for example, you are a SOC analyst, or your company is setting up a SIM for the first time. So you can set Shuffle in a way that whenever an alert is being generated, it automatically creates an okay, it triggers like this workflow, a workflow in your Shuffle, and it creates an incident in your D in D hive, which is this is the symbol for D hive and all this. So D hive is a ticketing system. It can create a case for you in D hive, and also it can enrich the IP address that was involved in that same incident. It can enrich the IP address, whether the IP address have been blacklisted, or okay, if the IP address has not been blacklisted, you are not sure. Okay, maybe the attacker is trying to use a legitimate IP address to do whatever it is you want to do. When it can also automatically assign a SOC analyst or an analyst that same task. I don't know how to explain it. Wait, before I even continue, are you even guys getting what I'm saying? Am I too fast, or is it okay, or are you guys understanding before I continue, please? are you able to see my screen? First of all, let me just know. Let me just pause to take in questions. Is there any question you want to ask? And just ask your questions and just let me know whether I'm too fast, or I'm too slow, or I'm just normal. Whatever it is, just let me know, please.
Good morning, Mr. Idris.
Yeah, good morning.
You're not fast, you're not slow, you're just going normal, but it's just new material for me. So I'm just absorbing what you're saying. But yes, I have no questions for now.
All right, thank you very much for confirming that.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who has another question? Or yeah,
Yeah,
you
Mr.
can
Idris, can you hear me?
for question. Yeah, Mr. Osus, you can speak.
Okay, so for me, I think you are doing your best. And one thing I will say is with the video and then the PDF you are promising to drop, I hope it will go a long way. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Osus. So I don't think I will be dropping videos, but PDFs, yeah. Because if I say I'm going to be dropping videos, actually, it will take a long time before I'm
No,
going to be recording.
basically what I mean is the recorded video, like this class, right?
All right, all right, all right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So yeah, PDFs I'm going to be dropping it before the day of the presentation, or even after the class. I'm going to be dropping the videos. Uh, Something. So just let me know, or I should explain, or I should give a more in-depth explanation because maybe you're new to the thing or something like that. Yeah. So I think basically there's no question, right? So I'm currently just typing in something. Let me quickly send it so I can just get back to the class. As I told you, that I'm multitasking. So just bear with me. All right, so we are back. Sorry for that. So basically, as I was saying, I want to show you guys we are currently talking about Shuffle, how to install Shuffle and get started with Shuffle, right? So this basically as I told you guys, Shuffle is accessible on GitHub and you can download it from GitHub, and that's the actually best way to get it. Yeah, because it's open source actually. Yeah, so this is basically you going through it and reading all about it and what it's even all about, right? And yeah, these are all of the contributors that contributed to building Shuffle. Yeah, you can contribute if you're interested or if you want. I don't really know, like yeah. So these are even the languages. These are the main areas to contribute in. If you're good or if you know a little bit about React JS, which is for front end, back end, which is Golang, the programming language like Google, I think. Then Apple API, blah blah. Documentation. You can even just contribute with documentation, right? Documentation, markdown, workflow creation, UI, all this you can content creation, blogs, videos. You can contribute in a lot of ways actually. So and this actually a very good thing to add. Actually, it's a big thing if you know how to just document it for key areas. These are the most important areas. It's actually a very big thing, right? So after this, you can just copy this. You can copy this URL. Yes, you can copy this in order to. But normally you clone things from GitHub, right? You can just download it into your system. So I already have Kali Linux installed using WSL. So I can open this up. So let's wait for it to finish loading. For you guys, maybe obviously I'm going to be using a virtual machine. You may be Ubuntu in your virtual machine or Linux in your virtual machine or whatever the case may be, or even just your normal Windows endpoint to install this. So you can just open Linux right here or open whatever device you want to install it on. So for me, if I install it Shuffle on my using this, automatically I've installed it on my Windows because I'm using the VSL and it's connected to my Windows automatically, right? So git clone, can simply use the command git clone and then paste this in. Yeah, so and then run this. So this is going to yeah already exists. Obviously, I've already cloned it. So after you run this command, it's going to just run some few steps and downloading it. I don't know how or the size of it because it was very fast for me. I don't know the like size of the file. We can download the zip file right here. Can just download the zip file, extract it, and just go just continue itself. So if you want it manually, should I say manually or no? If you want it UI based, right? But you know, we like to go the hacker way sometimes. We need to go all GUI to CLI and stuff because it's more interesting. It feels more like cyber. After that, after you cloned it, obviously, you're going to, yeah. So these are the files in Shuffle or the files you can or you're going to be seeing in Shuffle. So obviously, you're going to be using Docker to install Shuffle. So in case you don't know what Docker is a platform that allows you to install whatever application, even if your system does not support the application, right? It just give you like containers. Something like that. I can't really explain Docker much because I've not been using it for long, but it's very interesting. Hopefully, it's not made for Windows. You can't install Linux and think Debian distribution on Unix computers or something like that. But with the help of Docker, you can install it in whatever operating system you're using, even if you're using Mac OS or MacBook or Mac Air or Mac Pro, whatever device you're using or whatever operating system you're using, you can install it with the help of Docker, right? So in Windows, you need to install Docker Docker desktop before you can be able to run Docker. So I've installed Docker desktop. All you need to do is just to open it and run Docker. I think connect Docker to your WSL if you are using WSL to run Linux. But if you are But for me, I already have it. I can install it. I don't know why Docker is not coming now. I don't know why this just giving us some hard time. Please just let me know what you had me say last, so I cannot just so I will not just continue from you know.
You were trying to
Yeah,
install what
please
is it called, Docker or
just
something.
let me know where I stopped so we can continue from there. Exactly.
You were trying to install Docker.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, basically our Docker is now running. So as you can see, engine is running, right? So it was running. So I already installed the Docker deck those. So you need to install it and make sure it's running. And yeah, obviously it's running for me. So this is also telling you the amount of resources it is using. So it's using 5.26 gig of RAM, right? So it's very, very resource intensive. Not it's not the Docker actually that's using this amount of RAM. It's Shuffle that I installed in Docker that's using this amount of RAM. So basically that's it. So after you install this, what you need to do next is to head on to your folder in which you downloaded or is cloned your shuffle from, from GitHub and all this stuff. So this is the Docker Compose file. So obviously they know, or they're giving you an option. Okay, you can install this using Docker if you want, because here we already have a Docker Compose, so something like that, right? So I think we need to run Docker Compose, right? Yeah. Huh. I think I have forgotten even the command you used to run Docker. So, used to run this in can someone just remind me how you can just run Docker using, or in your Linux WSL or something like that? Someone should just remind me. If anyone just know, just remind me so you can continue. I think it's Docker minus. Oh my god, I forgot it. It's been a long time actually since I used Docker to run this, and I used this morning. Let me just try to see whether I can come up with that. Yeah, yeah. All right. So what I was missing is this up minus this. So just telling it to go up, and if you want to shut it down, Docker Compose down. I think minus D, something like that. So basically I already have yeah. So obviously it's going to give us an error because I already have this one. So it's going to take a lot of, not a lot of time, depending on your internet speed. It's going to take time before it can, install what it needs to install or get what it needs to get running. Very easy actually. So after that, all you need to do is just head on to your browser and your local host, and then 3001, which is the default port, or which is the port for Shuffle. Yeah, so waiting for Shuffle database to become available. Um, 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 but let's just wait for it to finish loading whatever it is you want to. If you finish, let me just, yeah, I don't know if this will work. Yeah, not one. No. Avoid that we are using the Docker desktop and it's already running, but why is our Shuffle not working on a run? Let's try. All right, so we can try to create our brute force alerts, right? Or alert for brute force. What are you going to try to brute force? What are we going to try to get into, or something like that? So I'm going to try to brute force the SSH server in our Ubuntu. So I think I installed SSH this morning. Yeah, obviously, if it's a server, maybe in a production environment, there's going to be a server which needs to which SSH needs to be enabled. It needs maybe for someone to access it and do some stuff or something like that. So sudo, yeah, status. I think, yeah. So SSH is currently active and running. So let's quickly check in the IP address of this our Ubuntu server, right? So this IP is 172 git from here, just to make sure we can even access 20.10.9. Yeah, so obviously we are being able to ping our, we have been able to ping our Ubuntu from our Windows computer, our Windows endpoint. This is telling us that here we can be able to talk to it because we are on the same network and something like that. So let's try to connect our SSH let's try to connect our Ubuntu using SSH, right? So, uh, sudo SSH. mm, mm, think what's even the user multi targets at 172.2010. So you can try to log in and make sure everything works. So let's wait for the connection. So before it's done, let's just go back.
Sorry, is it just me? But I can't hear anything.
Hi, Adobe. I'm also not hearing anything. I think the tutor has gone off or something.
It's been like at least, not to exaggerate, but at least 3 to 4 minutes now, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay. Mm.
Hello guys, good morning. Has the class ended? Adobe.
God live, good morning. Class has not ended, though, but it seems like maybe he had a network issue or something. You
Okay,
know.
okay, let me contact him.
Okay, all right.
So while waiting for him, you guys should take your attendance.
All right, so I think it's the network is back. Yeah, sorry for that glitch. Let me quickly share my screen again. Actually, I think it was not even a network problem. It showed me or gave me a notification telling me that the browser session was out or something like that. I don't even know why. But yeah, thank God we are back. Yeah, so I hope we browser is not responding. Why? Actually, this shuffle is. Oh my God. It has stopped the system. Yeah, I think I'm not currently sharing my screen. It's not even giving me the access to share my screen. I don't know why. Yeah, it's bad. All right, yeah, it's bad. So as you can see, we have a lot of failed login attempts, failed login attempts. Let me check. Oh my god. Shop is not going to stop the attack. Yeah. So obviously, what this does is the attacker is going to keep trying this using different word lists until they get the correct word list that maybe contains the password. So that's why it's not good to be using. It's not a good security practice to be using something like that. So because most of those default credentials or default password and usernames are found in this word list. This attack is basically going to just tell, okay, this is the password I found after this attack of this basically this thing. I can even uh, I can even not specify the source and it will still give me a good result. It will still give me this because it's all part of the logs, right? So this is just you can just use this to filter the last 5 minutes. As you can see, production environment and I will take this exam. This is not going to be. It's actually, let me say, very very easy to detect because of the amount of noise it makes actually, and all this source coming from the same IP address, short amount of period, 5 minutes, and also. So how can we create an alert from this? How can we make this into an alert? Obviously, we can just create an alert using this query because this is just telling us amount of field attempts, and whenever there's a field attempt, it will just it's going to be a lot of false positive or a lot of alerts being triggered without any valid reason. So the best thing we can this is telling us the amount of um you know the amount of just giving us the logs of the field password, right? What you can do is like a programmer just trying to talk to your logs, or you can just simply go down and keep in mind before you hit enter, you need to hold on the shift key and hit enter because you just click on enter, you just run the search query that's already on the search bar. Let me call it search bar. So you can put in this straight slash, yeah, straight slash just to tell. Telling just your Splunk that okay, yeah, this is another query different from down. So after you run this one, something like that, right? So let's say stats count by let's say count by SLC underscore IP. But we don't it doesn't even know okay what even the source IP. Okay, let me just increase the time range. I think five uh um let's say 30 minutes. Yeah. So the reason why it did not give us any result is because it doesn't even know what's the source IP. What's the source IP? How can it know that this is the source IP in the log? Right. So I'm going to come to that. I'm going to extract the source IP. Right. I'm going to extract that. But for now, let's search by let's say host. Well, no result in the current time rate. Yeah, so it should show us hosts. So this basically telling us how many hosts are being involved in this field password. So obviously only have one host, which is the target virtual box, and 886 field password attempts. So yeah, I think this search is just giving flexibility over your logs and this. So from here you know that okay, the only device that's been targeted is this target virtual box, and 806 failed password attempts in the last 30 minutes. So you can see how powerful those automation tools or tools hackers use is. In the last 30 minutes, there are 886 failed password attempts, right? So that's a very, very huge red flag. Yeah. So we already know, okay, one target is being involved. And we can also see, okay, source count by. So that's basically the host. A host can have different users. Let's say it's a server. So in a server, there can be different users, maybe even 20 to 30 users accessing that same server. So let's say count per user. Let's see what it gives. Yeah, so the reason why it did not give us any result because it doesn't also know which of those, how would I say, is it parameter or which of those information is even the user. So let me just go back and extract this first of all. So just to make your searching easier, you need to extract some fields, right? To extract some fields, we call them fields. So basically, this is the logs, right? So these are the fields we already have by default. We have the date underscore time on that for the host, and it gave us those information, right? So this field is basically when you want to extract. These are all fields. Target virtual box is a field. Watch field is this. This is the host field. This is the source IP field, or whatever you choose to call it, right? So let's quickly extract the source IP field and also the user field. What's the user? The user is, I think, the name of the user is target. Let me quickly confirm. This is the host. No, no, no. Yeah, it's not even showing us the user. Some reason I think yeah, see this user for target. So this is the user. So this user is going to serve as our normal user. So we need to extract all these fields. So how can you extract a field in Splunk? So you need to just come here. As you can see, there's a bottom right here, or there's a link right here that says extract new fields. Just simply click on it to extract new field. Let me check on our. Oh my god, the show full is still loading for some reason. Yeah, so basically this is our log. So we are going to be extracting our logs from. We're going to be extracting our fields from there. So what field do we even want to extract? Um, yeah, I think this. Yes, it's yeah. So as you can see, it's highlight the whole or the entire line or the entire log, right? But we only need this IP. We only need this IP. We don't really need like all the logs, something like that. So you can just simply click on that. So it's already extract this line, and this line contains our user and our IP address. So you can just simply leave it like this and next. So let's what should we choose? Let's just choose regular expression, please, and click on next. Yes, so we need all this. The field name. So this way I want to okay, as you can see, it's extract all of these, but we only need this and target. So this is going to be the source IP src underscore IP, right? Add extraction. Yeah, so as you can see, it highlights all the source IPs we have in our logs. And then we have a target, which is going to serve as our user and our user, right? Add extraction. Yeah, so I don't know why it's this giving us a red flag repeated two times. It's because it's repeated two times from target, blah, blah. I don't really know. But so this basically, so as you can see, it highlights the user first and our source IP, which we want to use as our, or which are the fields we actually want to extract. Like, see, I can just simply click on this. Sorry, we have the user, this is the value target, 885 field attempt from this user or to this user or whatever it is. And we have the values 107, sorry, the IP address, which is the source IP, then the count 885 field attempt from this IP address. So you can just click on next. We already confirmed that that's actually what we need. So this basically it's source IP, blah blah. Yeah. We yeah, so this is extraction names, extract user and source IP, and yeah, so permissions, the owner, and yeah, also in Splunk you can create different, let's for example this Splunk instance in the cloud. I can create a user and give you guys access to this Splunk instance. Maybe I can say, okay, you create this alert and something like that. So that's basically it. So you can assign this, okay, who can or who is able to access or use this field. Okay, owner, which apps can you even use the fields, maybe all apps and all this, something like that. So, all right, so just received a message, and yeah, so this basically is you have the owner, which is me. Basically, only wants me to use this field. I only want to be the one using this field we extracted right now. So you can just click on finish, and yeah, explore the field I just created. Search. Index explorer source auth, and yeah, so this is basically another SPL we can use to bring out these logs. So there are different ways, just based on you how you want to do it. Just like programming, if you want to program, every programmer has its own way of starting his own code. So that's basically it. So we can say yeah, we want to field password. I think this small data, this is supposed to be, then enter, then count that count by so we already have SLC on the school IP. Yes, we can just run that. Let's see. Yeah, because you see, in the have this SRC IP field extracted. So Splunk was like, I don't know what you're trying to see, or I don't know what even the source IP is. Where can I even get the source IP? So you need to specify, or you need to tell, okay, this is when I say source IP, when I say count by source IP, you're just saying, okay, bring me information about the source IP. Then, okay, what's the source IP? So that's when you need to extract it from the field. So when I say source IP, then this is what you need to give me, which is source IP. And this source IP, the count is 1,124 actually. 1,124. Okay, 24 hours. That's the past 24 hours. Field attempts was 1,104. I think 30 minutes, 800 and something. In the past 30 minutes, you'll see 800 and something. Wow, no, this one in the time range. I think it should. Oh, 30 seconds. I'm sorry. I don't even notice. 30 seconds. So these are things you need to be very, very careful about. These small, small details can give you wrong information. So, yeah, so count 404, 499. Yeah, so that's 885. I don't know why it's misbehaving or something like that. So that's basically the use of extracting field in Splunk. Right. Right. So we can also we want source IP and then host. So, do you know reason why we are all the source IP targeting the same host, something like that? See, source IP host, both of them have 100 or 885 counts or 885 field login attempts. This is telling you that okay, this source IP is trying to access this host, which is the target virtual box 800. It was trying to access it and it failed 885 times. Obviously, this is a brute force attack, but yeah. So let's just deal with it. So host, yeah, we should also specify the user. Let's try to use the user and see. Yeah, so you can see we have the user, we have the count, user goes source IP. So this just gives us more visibility. If the attacker tries to use different IP address, to run a brute force attack, maybe he used or created a script that's going to be testing different password from the word list. But maybe anytime it tries to uh, test the password or tries to impute the password, whatever it is, it's going to go with a different IP address. So it's going to use a different IP address, maybe a trusted IP address. So all the IP addresses are going to be shown here. And if all the IP addresses are being shown in this table right here or this side right here, then the host, if the host is the same host and the user is the same user, obviously it's a brute force attacker. What the attacker is trying to do is just trying to outsmart you if you're using different IP addresses. So that's all use of all this. So this was being basically trying to investigate a brute force attack, right? So this basically it. So we already know that obviously this is a brute force attack because it's targeting one host and also one user. Maybe he found out okay, this user has a weak password accessing this. Maybe the password he used to access this server. Let's use this Ubuntu as a server. Maybe you have a weak password trying to access this server, and then the attacker is trying to target that user, which the name of the user is obviously target for some reason. Yeah. So okay, how can we turn this into an alert? Okay, anytime some searching or something like this happens again, then we should know or it should alert us. Let's quickly on so you can just quickly add this. Okay, let's see when the count is greater than 5. Okay, no, start. I'm sorry, I did not include start count is greater than 5. I think. What? I don't think this is supposed to give us this error. For some reason, this is giving us an error. Um, sorry, very, very sorry for that. I don't know why the network today is busy giving us a hard time for some reason actually. Oh my god.
It's
All right,
already
so
12, sir.
huh?
It's already 12.
All right, yeah. So let me just quickly wrap this up. Let's create the alert before we round up. I really want us to be done with this. So by next week, we're going to just do our final class. I think. So by next week, we're going to talk about. We're just going to discuss about shuffle. Actually, I'm just going to immediately we start the class. I'm going to talk about shuffle and documentation, report writing, and something like that. Yeah. So just bear with me. I'm very, very sorry for that. Yeah, so we're discussing. Okay, we are trying to create a query actually. Yeah, so count equals okay greater than 5. I think it is not. Yeah, so where count I think greater than, let's say, no, let's say greater than or equals to time no, not 30 minutes. Yeah, so in 30 minutes you have 400 and no, let's wait. Yeah, 499. I think yeah, 884. Yeah, so that's basically so where count is greater than 5, right? All right, so what this query is basically, let me quickly explain. So this is just a very, very simple and non-complicated SPL query. Don't expect to be running this type of queries. This is very, 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 very simple query. This is just to like let you guys understand how basically what this is all about. Because we're supposed to even include a timeline and also some Rex parameters in order to extract some stuff. But I don't want this to be so long. So let's just quickly use this for now. So basically what this does is that okay, index from this index or this index, this we can use anyone. We can just remove this because we just want something easy. So index this, which is the all indexes. Source type, which is authentication, obviously it's an authentication log. Then failed login attempts or failed password. Oh, sorry. Wherever there's failed password, wherever it sees a place where it says failed password, then that's what you want to see. Then start count. Okay, bring. Okay, I want you to give me the source IPs, the host, and also the users where the count is greater or equals to 5, where the failed login attempt or failed password is greater or equals to 5, right? If this same source IP, same host, and same user has failed password where the count is greater or equals to 5, then yeah, it should show me something, it should give me something. So basically this is a logic we can use for our our alert, but this is a very, very poor alert creation SPL query because it doesn't have a time. So we can only specify the time right here, but let's say last 5 minutes is okay. Yeah, so actually we don't have anything in the past 5 minutes, obviously. So let's try to run another brute force attack and see. Let's try run it. 5 minutes or something. None yet, so I think it has not started. Yeah, so it has started. No results. Yeah, so let's just wait for it. Yeah, so we already have 45 in just 5 minutes as we are, yeah, 59 right now. Let's refresh. We are going to have more. So something like that. So this basically what's going to give us. So let me create an alert using this actually. So what you can basically is just to copy this. You can copy this and head on to alert. You can even save as, but I just want to show you guys. Let me not say the long way, but the correct way of doing this. But you can just simply save as. Maybe you run a query or something like that. Just click on the save as button and it will give you an option to save as alert. Then configure what needs to be configured and something like that. Yeah, there's no. Oh my god. to maybe see what of alert if an alert is being triggered. So let's quickly go back to our search. Just bear with me today. Actually, I'm not to query once more and see. Let's get our results. Yes, if as let's say alert. So what's the title of our alerts? We can just say brute force. Yeah, that's right. So description. So this oh let's just leave it like this. This is being triggered. Let's say um let's say this is a brute force attack. We don't really need anything complicated. This is a brute force. Yeah, so this actually good and this we are good to go. Yeah. But obviously if you are creating alerts, and yeah, if you are going to be creating alerts in your projects, the description needs to be something that other SOC analysts, if another SOC analyst sees the description, you know, okay, this is what this alert is going to be all about and something like that. Because every single person has their own way of doing stuff. So you might use some queries often due to its own preferences on other stuff. Short description for the alert. So sharing apps scheduled in real time. So we need it to be in real time. We don't want time run every day. Every hour. Let's say run on Chrome. That's okay. Last 24 hours time reach. Last 24 hours. Should we select? No, let's say last 15 minutes. Actually, let's just leave it as last 15 minutes. Expires 24 hours. Okay, so if the alert is being triggered, when will it expire? Let's leave it as 24 hours actually. So if no one responds to the alert in the next 24 hours, then so trigger alert when number of results is greater or equals to zero. Yeah. So whenever there's a failed password attempt greater or equals to five, then yeah, it will just generate an alert. You don't need to set one or something like that. No. You can also have any other options. Number of hosts is greater or number of sources, number a lot of stuff. So you can, you know, um, customize this based on your preference, right? So you want to trigger it once or for each result. So you want to trigger it for each result and add actions. You can add other action. Okay, add to alert. Obviously, this is the default dashboard to do snapshot, log event, output, something like that. And there is an webhook. So this webhook is the option actually we are supposed to be choosing if we want to connect our shuffle to our to Splunk. If you select this webhook, because it will give us a URL. So in shuffle, if we set everything, it's going to give us a chance to put this URL in and okay, if this alert is being generated, what do we want it to do next and or other stuff, right? So that's big. But for now, we just want it to be add to triggered alerts. So severity, let's leave it as medium. We're going to remove the webhook. We don't really need it. So this basically it. Um, yeah. So you can just save this alert and I think view alerts. And yeah, every single time you set an alert as a stock analyst, you need to check the alert. You need to make sure the alert is being triggered. So this is even currently running. Wow. So our Bluetooth even found our password. So actually the password is root. Yeah. So the password for my Ubuntu is root. No one should try to access it. But yeah, the password is root, obviously, because this is just a lab system. So I don't really care much about the password. So as you can see, this tool is very, very powerful. As you can see, it found the password. This is the login. The username is targets, the password is root, and so um, trigger that. We have obviously we're going to have no trigger alert right now. Let's try to run the brute force again and see if we can trigger an alert. So let's try to see if we can trigger an alert. So the alert is being set for 15 minutes. Obviously, it's not going to trigger any alerts in until in the next 15 minutes or something. So this basically it, and I think that's it for the class. Is there anyone who has any question before we call it a day? So next class we are going to continue from where we stopped, and hopefully that will be our last class. So is there anyone who has any question? All right. So I think in absence of any question, we're going to call it a day. Thank you very much. I'll see you in our next class.